I just came back from 3 days at Rhinebeck, and that was my fifth time attending the New York Ship and Wool Festival. My first time I was there in 2019, and I really did just recently started knitting at that point and didn't know anyone. So it was very different from going this time. So at 5 a.m. on Friday morning, I woke up, got dressed, and went to get my friend Grace, and together we drove to Indie Untangled. We started our day at Indie Untangled. We were there by 9:30, and the festival started at 10. So we registered. We got these beautiful bags that they created for this year's festival. Isn't it great? And it has zippers, so it's really a great bag. And inside that bag, we had a skein of yarn in the natural color. It's from North Bay Fiber, breed-specific yarns. So this one is American wool exclusively spun for North Bay Fibers. It's 100% source spun, hand-dyed in the USA. And it's a natural color. And then there was a bunch of little gifts from the sponsors. So Murky Depth, Dye Works had these notes, sticky notes. Lemonwood Love had the magnet. There was a label from 29 Bridges, some tea, some soap. This is from Cesium Yarns and markers, and some barber cord. So a bunch of little goodies that we all love so much. If you haven't attended the Rhinebeck weekend before, there are a few festivals that take place the day before New York Ship and Wool starts. So New York Ship and Wool is Saturday and Sunday, but on Friday, there are 3 different festivals that I know of. There is India Untangled, Cake Palooza, and a Woolen Affair. So my friend Grace and I first went to India Untangled. There are 3 major buildings there, and also some vendors were outside. I really like that festival because the buildings are spread apart. So even if there is a lot of people, you don't feel like it's cramped because people walking, people sitting outside and knitting. There are food vendors, so you could get apple cider or apple cider donut, or there was a mac and cheese truck and the oyster booth. So like there were different kinds of food vendors. So you could just sit and chat with your friends, or you could go into the buildings and see the vendors. The only thing I got at that festival, and actually the only thing pretty much I got the whole weekend, was a sweater quantity of this yarn from that ship yarn. So this is a small batch hand-dyed yarn. It's called Chivalry. It's 100% superwash merino, worsted weight. And you guys know me, it's my favorite color. So I was planning to make a sweater visit. So I was actually looking for worsted weight yarn because I have a lot of fingering yarn or decay in my collection, but not worsted weight. So I was looking for worsted weight yarn. And this time I decided I'm going to be super disciplined. I was going for the experience and not yarn shopping necessarily, but I was taking notes and I could order some stuff in the future. I really enjoy my time at India Untangled. I think it's beautifully organized festival. Everything runs very smoothly. They also have word cards that can drive you from one building to another if there's problem with mobility, or if you just don't feel like making your 10,000 steps at that festival. And here I am with my friends. Hi guys, welcome.
Hi.
So tell me about your truck.
So this is our yarn truck. We're Cesium Yarn, and so instead of having a traditional booth setup, we drive around from place to place with our truck, and people get to come in and shop like a yarn store. And it means we can go to lots of different places, including festivals, yarn stores. We've done some pop-ups in driveways and
wineries.
Right. And this is your first time here as a yarn truck, right?
It's our first time as a yarn truck. Last year we were a booth, but we were super excited when we were asked to come as a truck this year.
That's so cool. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you. And just wave.
To get established in it, but hi, hello. Now we're pretty well set up. I'm not sure what's what.
I'm Sue from Sandpiper Yarns. I hand paint and hand spin all the yarn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, I'm Kat from Why Not Fibers, and I'm an independent dyer and sourcer of yarns. And I have a whole bunch of different yarns and colors here today, a lot of farm yarns that I produce and work on producing. So,
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marcy with Bad Sheep Yarn. I'm here at Untangled, and I brought a lot of my hand-dyed yarn.
We had great time there, and then we went to Woolen Affair. The Woolen Affair was taking place at Hutton Brickyards in Kingston, and it's a beautiful, beautiful venue. It's on the lake. You coming down the hill and you see the lake and you see all the vendors there, just a beautiful view. What I love about those festivals is that you see a lot of really interesting yarn dyers and accessory makers. So it makes it much richer experience when you go to Rhinebeck, because it's not just farm yarns, just hand dyers, but like a beautiful combination of both. At Woolen Affair, you had a lot of names that you probably know and love. And I went there and I saw so many of my friends So it was really a social experience for me. I was catching up with old friends and we were chatting and taking pictures, hugging. It's that's the best part for me to going to all these festivals. We spent a couple of hours there. I was tired because I got up so early and I had to drive all the way to Kingston. So we were at the festival for a couple of hours and then we went to check in into our hotel. But you could stay there the whole day. There was live music, there were food vendors, there were places to just sit, lunch, and meet and look at the lake, beautiful view, and catch up with your friends. So you could literally spend all day there, and I'm sure many people did that. We saw people with kids. They were coming like whole family and just sitting in lunch chairs on the lawn there. So it was really a great festival. I enjoyed it tremendously. On Saturday morning, we got up pretty early. The festival, the New York Ship and Wool, opens at 9. So we were there probably like 9:15, trying not to get into the longest line, but the line was still long, but it moves really fast. So we walked into the festival, and I immediately went to visit my friend Erin from Morehouse Farm. They were displaying my Sway With Me shawl at their booth, and she wanted to wear another one. So I brought my sample to her. It's always so great to see them. They represent the farm that's the first merino sheep farm in the US. And they have beautiful yarn, like there's all different colors. I love their naturals, but they have a lot of different colors there and different weights of yarn. And my shawl was on the very prominent display there. It was just so beautiful and so touching that they had it there. From there, I went straight to see the animals because, to be honest, it's my favorite part of New York Sheep and Wool. You get to see all different kinds of sheep and the goats and llamas and alpacas and just different breeds. And people were preparing for competitions. So you could see shearing demonstrations. You could see people brushing their sheep and trimming their hooves. It was just lovely. I just get such a positive feeling from seeing animals, petting them. It's a lovely, lovely feeling to have. And it also allows you to escape the crowds a little bit because this New York Sheep and Wool was intense. From what we've heard, they had 40,000 people there, and you could feel it. In fact, you could feel it so much that it was hard to get through the buildings. Especially they have the main building is like A, B, C, D, and that was just standstill traffic. I I prefer to be a little bit outside just because you feel like you're getting stuck in traffic there. You can't really move forward, but you can't go back. So it wasn't, I don't know, it was a little overwhelming. I went to see the book signing section because I knew a lot of people there. So there was a big stand by Line. So I had to say hello to Jonah from Line. And there were new books by Alex Bird and Olga Putano and like many other. Sari Norland was there signing books. So there were like a lot of authors. People were coming to take pictures with those designers and have their copies signed, or just look through like what's being published, and some new books and some old favorites. Like Claudia Quintanilla's Making Memory was there. So like I saw a lot of books that I've seen over the years, but also there were some brand new books that you haven't seen yet. At 12 o'clock, I went to the Podcaster Hill. There was so many different podcasters. It was lovely to see some of the familiar faces. There were also some people that just came to say hello. And all my friends from the Unruly Stitch came to take a group picture. So that was lovely to see the guys that I'm meeting with every Thursday. If you don't know, the Unruly Stitch is a store in Weston, Massachusetts. It's my local yarn store. And I'm there every Thursday practically, unless I'm traveling. For the knit night, we have knit night from 6:30 to 8 every Thursday. So there's a lot of regulars and some new people always come. So it's a lovely community. We took this picture there. There was also a meetup for Andrea Mowry and the Ooey Gooey sweater, which was her Rhinebeck sweater. So there were like probably hundreds of people with this Ooey Gooey sweater, and they were all on the hill. And Andrea was waving from top of the hill to them, and then they were all taking pictures. So that was very fun. After the meetup, I went to have lunch with my friend Steven Weber and my roommate Grace, and we just had some Argentinian steak sandwiches. There are a lot of food vendors at New York Ship and Wool. Some of my favorites is the Brussels sprout stand, of course, the apple cider donut stand. They have Greek food. They have pizza and pretzels and French fries and all different kinds of things. So there is something for everyone. The lines were really long, but they're moving fast. Those guys are really professional and they move the lines pretty fast. But I think we still stood in line for probably like half an hour to just get sandwiches. But there was place to sit. they have a lot of tables with benches to sit and have lunch. So we found a spot and we were just chatting and catching up. After lunch, we did a couple more hours and then we went back home because I was getting really tired. And I knew that I have one more event to attend that night. So I needed like a couple hours of rest before venturing out to my next adventure. So a Woolen affair organizers invited me to a private party for industry professionals that was by invitation only. And I went there with my friend Anu, who is the owner of the Unruly Stitch. So we arrived, it was at the Rose Hill farm, not too far from our hotel, probably like 15 minutes drive. So we arrived there, and there was a lot of people from the industry, like Paula from Mayak Fibers, and Amy from La Bien-Aimée, and some designers and some yarn dyers. So everybody was part of the industry. It was really lovely. There was live music, there were some drinks, some food. We got some burgers and sparkling water. I felt like it was enough entertainment for me without the drinks, but it was very lovely, like relaxed atmosphere. Everybody was just chatting and introducing each other and talking about future collaborations, perhaps. Sunday morning, we went back to New York Ship and Wool, and it was much more relaxed. There were fewer people there. You could actually go through the booths and through the buildings and see all the merchandise that was left from Saturday Madness. If you are not into crowds, I highly advise you to come to New York Ship and Wool on Sunday because it's just much more manageable as far as crowds go. Some of the vendors also have discounts by the end of the day on Sunday, so you might get some better deals there if you're shopping for bargains. Talking of the prices, there was a bit of a sticker shock for me, but like I feel like I'm just still remembering the yarn being at $24, and in the recent years, the prices for dyes and for the raw material just went through the roof. So the average skein was somewhere between $34 and $40. But the variety of yarn is just unprecedented. I don't think there is another festival that I've seen that you can see such a diverse variety of yarns represented there and accessories and different things made out of wool and raw wool as well. So if you're into spinning, they had fleeces for sale. So a lot of people were walking around with those enormous bags. My plan was to leave the festival by 1 because I had a long way to drive back home. And I'm flying off to Sardinia today on Tuesday. So I had just 2 days to unpack, do my laundry, repack, get ready, film this episode. So the plan was to leave right after lunch, to have something to eat and then leave. And before we left, we stopped at Barn E, and that's where you can see all the food, and there's beautiful spiced wines, whiskey, and you can try some samples, so you can just buy some souvenirs for the loved ones. So I got some honey for my honey at home. I bought some apples, some beautiful tomatoes, and pears and maple syrup, and like some other stuff from the food stands there. And then we went back home. So it took us a while to get back home. There was some traffic that we encountered. So probably like around 4.5 hours until I saw my house. But it was a really lovely weekend overall, just because I got to see so many of my friends and chat with them and spend some time with them and just admire everyone's needs. Even if you don't buy a single thing at Rhinebeck, just seeing everybody's needs, seeing everybody's sweaters and shawls and beautiful handmade items, it's worth the trip. To see the sheep, to see what people buying, to see what people wearing, it's entertainment in itself. And you can just, if you're not into the crowds, you can just find some bench and sit and just observe everybody walking by and do some crowd watching. I'm going to share some footage I took at the festival, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm off to Sardinia tonight. I'll report about that when I come back. Thank you so very much for watching. And if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing or liking this video or share it with your friends. That helps the algorithm to show my videos to more people. Until next time, happy crafting.